In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Praise be to God, Lord of the worlds, most gracious, most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. It is you alone we worship, it is you alone we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those who you blessed, not of those in your wrath or the strayers. God is great, glory be to God. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. You are the one and only God, the absolute God. Never did you beget, nor were you begotten. None equals to you. God is great, glory be to God. Today what I'll be showing is the corruption, or the Bible corruption, in relation to a person named Ahaziah, who's made a king. But if I can quickly read from chapter 49, verse 6, God gives us strong advice and strong suggestion, and he says, O you who believe, if a wicked person comes to you with any news, then you shall investigate it, lest you harm a people out of ignorance. Then you will become regretful over what you have done. Know that among you is the messenger of God, and if he were to obey you in many things, you would be in difficulty. But God made you loving acknowledgement, and he adorned in it your hearts. He made you hate denial, wickedness, and disobedience. These are the rightly guided ones. In chapter 9, verse 31, they have taken their priests and their monks to be patrons besides God and the Messiah, son of Mary, while they were only commanded to serve God, one God. There is no God except he. Be he glorified against what they set up. They want to extinguish the light of God with their mouths, but God refuses such and lets his light continue, even if the rejectors hate it. He's the one who sent his messenger with guidance and the system of truth to make it manifest above all other systems, even if those who set up partners hate it. O you who believe, many of the priests, the scholars, consume people's money in falsehood, and they turn away from the path of God. Those who hoard gold and silver and do not spend it in the cause of God, give them news of a painful retribution. Now turning to the Bible, second book of Kings, chapter 8, verse 26, right here. It says, Isaiah was 22 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 1 year. His mother's name was Ahaziah, a granddaughter of Omri, king of Israel. He followed the ways of the house of Ahab and did evil in the eyes of the Lord, as the house of Ahab had done, for he was related by marriage to Ahab's family. Now, just to ensure that from the Hebrew to English translation they've done it correct, now we can verify by using the Hebrew text, the closest to the truth as we have, with the English text. And it says, old 22 years Ahaziah when he became king, and year 1 he reigned in Jerusalem, and his name was of his mother Ahaziah, the granddaughter of Omri, king of Israel. Now if we go to the second book of Chronicles, chapter 22, we find here in the NIV and all the other translations, we find here, Ahaziah was 22 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 1 year, and his mother's name was Ahaziah, a granddaughter of Omri. Right here we see that it actually is the same as we find in the second book of Kings, right there. But very interestingly, when we turn to the Hebrew to English, we find that in the second book of Chronicles, he's actually 42 years old. So 42 years old when he became king, and year 1 he reigned in Jerusalem, and his name of his mother was Athaliah, the granddaughter of Omri. So right here, the English translators, your scholars, your rabbis, and whoever's involved in this has made a correction from the Hebrew. Now, if you guys don't verify to see if this translation was actually correct, you would never pick up on this change. Now, a lot of the scholars have made excuses for this, and they talk about the reign of 42 years and all that kind of different. Now, this evidence from the Hebrew suggests, and them changing it negates the excuses they made for the point of difference. So you've been exposed as liars and frauds. And God says in chapter 7, verse 146, he says, I will divert from my ayats, my signs, those who are arrogant on earth unjustly. And if they see every sign, they do not believe in it. And if they see the path of guidance, they do not take it as a path. And if they see the path of straying, they take it as a path. That is because they have denied our signs and were heedless of them. Now right here is that heedlessness. Right here. 42 years